Hey everybody, just a little quick update on our raised beds. We did a video the other day about how we put these together, but Ben planted some seeds and those seeds are since coming up. So just a little quick update. We have our garden of beans right here, which are bush beans. We're excited about those because most all of them came up beautifully. And then we have a variety mix of our various lettuce down here. We have green leaf, we have red leaf, we have various fancy types of frilled green leaf in there as well. And we also have the lettuce that Ben planted in the cell system that we did a couple of weeks ago that we're going to plant in here as well. That's why there's plenty of space to add more to this. So we're excited about that on this side. And it seems like even the seeds that were not coming up originally have started to come up because we have a little bit of seedlings as well coming in, and hopefully that'll fill in, which is perfect because we'll go ahead and harvest those when they're ready, and then the ones that are smaller will be ready a little bit later. So it'll be perfect. And then over here on this side, we have a variety of things going on here. We have our radish harvest, or radish garden, I should say, and they are ready to be picked, and they are loving this new raised bed soil. They're huge. We picked one the other day, but yeah, so we're going to come in tomorrow probably and harvest these, use those in salad, and then the yellow and the purple onion, or red onion, whatever you want to say, however you want to say it, are doing great. Ben also has some daffodils coming up in the corner and some hyacinths here coming up here, and looking forward to those blooms. We also have, just really quick, might as well show it while we're here, these daffodils that are just absolutely beautiful. We planted those last year and they have naturalized beautifully, which means that they have spread over a year. I think we started with 4 bulbs and it looks like we came close to maybe 8 coming up, and lots of blooms. So how cool is that? So anyways, that's just a really brief update on what's going on with the raised beds, and we'll give you more updates as time progresses.
So this is a couple days later, and we had just harvested those radishes. They were so great. And here's a picture of them right here. Let me bring that up. There they are. Ben planted a few in there. We planted actually more after we harvested those, and that's what he's doing here. He's going through that soil and re-amending it a little bit with some fertilizer, and then making little tiny divots where he's planting each and every one of those seeds. We planted red and white radishes, and we've actually harvested them since then, but they were great. And it seems like we're planting them kind of far apart, but I've noticed that when we plant them a little bit further apart, they actually grow bigger than when they're crowded together. Usually what I would do before would I take a channel, I'd like run my finger through the dirt and then make a channel and then just spread the seeds in there. And they kind of got crowded that way. So I think that that was actually the better way to do it, how Ben was planting it there. Then we're taking that middle section. We grew so many weeds in there and we cleaned that up, weeded all that out, and we're getting ready to plant the seed, or the seedlings that we had grown in our seed cells. So what Ben's doing here is he's planting those tomatoes from Proven Winners and taking them into the back of the beds where they have plenty of room to grow. And you can tell they're super healthy, doing great. And he's snipping off the lower leaves because you can actually bury those down deeper when you plant them. And that's exactly what he's doing here. You put a little bit of that tomato tone in there from Espoma and burying them probably half their full length there into the ground. Because if you notice on tomatoes, they have little hairs that will eventually, if you plant them low enough, will grow into roots, which is kind of cool. And it makes for a healthier plant, and it makes it a lot more sturdy in the ground, especially on lofty soil like this, where it's not really super sturdy. If you're in a windstorm or it rains or whatever, they don't tend to fall over as much if you bury them down a little bit further so they can develop a really nice root system. Then, as you can tell here, we moved on to some of the lettuce that Ben had planted as seedlings and placed them out first. And then he's going through and fertilizing and digging a hole for each one of those lettuce, which you're going to see later as they've grown so much. They are just amazing plants, and we've been really enjoying those. So yeah, he's going through and planting those firmly in the ground, digging a hole, fertilizing it like right there, and planting them. I wish this went that fast, but it doesn't. Anyways, that's that side. Looks super organized, and they really have been growing like amazing there.
And after all of that time, Look at how everything grew like crazy. It's so cool to see what wasn't here before look like this all of a sudden after a couple of months. Anyways, just a little recap of what we have in here, because I know I talked about it in that video where I did the update, and I'm editing these things together so you can see it over time. But obviously the onions have gone crazy. That Ben plant from small little bulbs, I mean, they were really, really tiny, and they are doing super great. Not quite ready to take these out yet until the stalks start to flop and they get soft at the base. Probably about another month or so on those. We just yesterday had harvested our radishes here, and they were great. I mean, seriously, almost 3.5 weeks from planting the seed to harvest. It was incredible. In this bed here, we have a variety of different things. We have the lettuce that Ben had planted in the seed cells, just like these right here, and they've come a long way. We have red oak leaf lettuce in the back, and then we have this other lettuce. It's a lot tighter in the way it's forming and the growth habit. Really cool. Then obviously we have our peppers in the back there doing great. Some of the daffodils are still coming up. Not too sure if those are going to bloom yet, but even if they don't, it's okay. They're in there, and hopefully next year they'll do a little better than they did this year. Then we have two of our organic zucchini growing on either side of the boxes, which is perfect because they tend to grow really, really big and put on a lot of growth. And so that they don't take over the whole giant raised bed, we plant them outside the raised beds, and they can just move their way forward around our lime tree here. That's finally doing a lot better since we got it in the correct kind of soil and keeping that moist there. But no, it looks great. That's doing really well. In the back of this bed here, we have our proven winners tomatoes. This one's the good-hearted one. That one's the Garden Gem, I believe. Doing super well. Grew those from complete seeds, so we're super excited about those. They even have some blooms on them, and this one's even starting to put on tomatoes, which is incredible. Super excited about that. That one has blooms on it as well. So thought that would be great because they grow taller than the onions to grow them in the same bed. Never done that before. Not quite sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but we're trying it out and hopefully it'll work out. Then over here on this side, obviously Ben's beans doing so great over here. They are loaded with blooms, and these are a bush bean. Obviously they're not a vine bean, and they're growing really great. Loaded with blooms. Some of them have little tiny beans on them growing already, which is super cool to see that. We also have some tomatoes in the back there that are growing taller. We just had a heat wave a couple days ago that really kind of zapped everything in the garden, but things like the beans and the zucchini and the onions, they love that heat. It was over 100 degrees for 2 days, which is kind of rare here to get that hot in April. It can happen, but it zapped everything else, like all the flowers. But they've come back pretty good. Then, of course, our lettuce bed here, and we have the arugula right here that has just gone crazy. And mixed in with lettuce, different varieties. This is, I believe it's the gourmet mix that we ordered from High Mowing. So it's a variety of their best and most well-performing lettuces, and they are just going crazy. I'm going to have to get out here and pick some of this stuff before they start bolting, because that heat tends to make these kind of things bolt like that. But yeah, it's full of lettuce, and we're pretty much through all of the plants that we planted in here. Look at Ben, look at the ladybug. That's super cool. Living its best life for sure. Anyways, but yeah, so that's the raised bed garden tour, and like we say all the time, is we are experimenting just like a lot of you guys are, and you never know what you can do unless you try it. And if it doesn't work, then try something else. That's what's great about gardening. And plus, there's no rules. We're just working it as we go. Anyways, we hope you enjoyed this video from the start of the planting to the way it looks here right now. And we'll have more updates a little bit later. Thank you guys for watching. Bye-bye.